Hi, it's Red Recapped here. Today I'm going to describe a movie called The Boondock Saints, which came out in 1999. There will be some spoilers in the following, so let's start the movie without further ado. At the beginning of the film, we meet brothers Connor and Murphy. They are two very religious Irishmen who even have their own family prayer. In the early scenes, the two attend church on St. Patrick's Day. The priest mentions in his speech an innocent girl who was stabbed to death in the street, and no one stood up for her. The priest considers this indifference an even greater evil than what the murderers did. The brothers listen to his words and then walk away. The brothers work in a meatpacking plant and are generally harmless as long as they do not harm each other. Of course, they like to fight when there is a cause, but otherwise, Connor and Murphy are good guys. Generally, they are well liked by their neighbors and have many friends. In addition, the bartender, Doc, also always supports them, but one day he gives them bad news. Doc reveals that the Russian Mafia is gaining territory in town, and they intend to shut down Doc's bar. Doc has one more week before his lease expires, but on St. Patrick's Day, a trio of goons show up at the bar to throw him out on the street. One of the Russians, Ivan, orders a man named Rocco to stay, while the others are told to leave. The protagonist brothers would like to settle the matter amicably, but the Russian mobster will not even listen to them. The scene shifts to the next day, when the police find the bodies of the bandits in an alley not far from Doc's bar. FBI Special Agent, Paul Smecker, arrives to investigate the case but first decides to listen to Detective Greenlee's shocking theory. Greenlee, with a great enthusiasm, explains the whole puzzle and concludes that it was an even bigger black man who killed those criminals, but Smecker does not think so. Accordingly, Smecker sends Greenlee to fetch him a coffee since he is unable to do anything else. Afterwards, in a couple of minutes, like a true scientist, Smecker gets an idea of what happened. He discovers that one of the two thugs was hit with a toilet and that the other henchman has a broken back. In addition, the agent also identifies the apartment from where the toilet was pulled out. It is the apartment of the protagonist brothers. Smecker also finds the guns and discovers how many bullets were fired, namely, 2. Lately, he has stated that it was not a gang war but something more personal. Then the officers go to the brothers' apartment and discover that the bathroom is really missing a toilet. Greenlee is shocked, but still claims that it was a very large man who attacked the thugs. However, Smecker disagrees and taunts him. Meanwhile, the two brothers find themselves in the hospital, rather battered, and about to turn themselves into the police. Doc comes to visit them to inform them that Smecker is investigating the deaths of the thugs. The brothers do not seem frightened. In fact, they want to explain to the officer that it was self-defense. Finally, they hand Doc the money and weapons they had found to the thugs and ask him to keep them while they stay at the hospital. At the police station, Smecker lashes out at the other officers because someone revealed the case to a reporter. Now, the whole town knows about the death of the thugs, and they think the two brothers are heroes. Nevertheless, Smecker stresses that they must be caught anyway. In the process, the two brothers showed up at the police station. They look like walking dead men. Smecker decides to question them privately, letting them know that he recorded the whole thing. The brothers agree to tell the truth but avoid talking about the guns and the money. Then the scene shifts to the bar, where the henchman Ivan orders everyone but Rocco out of the bar. Being rotten drunk, Rocco insults Ivan and gets punched in the face. As a result, the two brothers and their friends start beating up the henchman. Then they tie one of them to the table and set his ass on fire, after which they throw the two bodies into the street. The next morning, the two henchmen entered the brothers' apartment to kill them. Their wounds are wrapped with bandages, which means that after beating them, the brothers took care of their wounds. Ivan apologizes to Connor and tells him that he will kill him after killing his brother. As Murphy is taken away, Connor becomes enraged and manages to snatch the toilet from the floor. He then goes outside to the roof and throws the toilet at Ivan's head. Immediately after, he jumps on the other henchman, saving Murphy. Connor hits Ivan in the head twice, after which he steals the money and guns and drags Connor to the hospital. Smecker realizes that the brothers only defended themselves and decides to release them, but they ask to stay in the cell for a while until the reporters gathered outside the police station disperse. An officer informs the reporters that the two brothers are innocent and will be released soon. That night, both brothers wake up with a vision of having to sweep away the filth that ruins the lives of good people every day. They decide to set out on the warpath and kill all the criminals in the city. In the morning, the brothers receive a message on the phone they stole from Ivan. They prepare to leave the police station and discover that all the newspapers are talking about them. Connor, who can speak Russian, calls the number found on Ivan's phone and finds out where the criminals will meet this evening. In the next scene, we learn that Rocco is an errand boy for the Italian Mafia family and works for the boss, Papa Joe. They know that on the night of the confrontation with the Russian Mafia, Rocco was present. Now he sits in front of Papa Joe and tries not to wet his pants because the boss is in a bad mood. So, Papa Joe asks him to make him laugh, and Rocco tells him a joke. Papa Joe bursts out laughing. In fact, he always calls Rocco by the nickname Funny Man. Before the visit to the Russian mob boss, Connor and Murphy sold the henchman's jewelry and guns to buy weapons. Connor insists they take a rope. It's what is done in all spy movies. Murphy initially thinks it is a stupid idea, but then agrees. After visiting the mobster, Agent Smecker is called to the crime scene. When he arrives, he realizes that there has been an actual massacre. After analyzing the addresses, Smecker realizes that 2 gunmen killed 9 criminals. In addition, the killers placed coins, which have religious symbolism, on the victims' eyes. In the next scene, we see how it all happened. The brothers climb through the ventilation shaft and go to the room where the mobster is. At one point, the brothers start fighting over the rope, and they become entwined with it. As a result, they make a hole in the attic and fall, but fortunately, the rope holds them back, and they begin to shoot all the criminals around them. After killing all the henchmen, they go down, make the mob boss kneel down, read a prayer, and shoot him in the head. The brothers then notice a briefcase in the room and discover money inside. At some point, they hear someone knocking on the door. They open the door and throw the man to the floor, threatening to kill him. They realize it is Rocco, who claims that Papa Joe sent him to kill the 9 Russians with 6 bullets. Rocco does not want to believe it, he is not lucid, and his friends have just killed a lot of people and frightened him. The scene shifts to Smecker, who assumes that this massacre is about a Mafia gang war. The brothers then go to Rocco's house and tell him about their plan to save humanity from criminals. They get drunk and smoke. Rocco starts playing with a gun and accidentally kills his girlfriend's cat. In the morning, Rocco and Connor take a walk outside. Connor tells Rocco that his boss most likely ordered him to go kill a Russian mobster to just get killed. At first, Rocco doesn't want to believe it, but then the 2 brothers try to convince him that Papa Joe has betrayed him. After they argue for a while, Rocco shouts that he is leaving to talk to Papa Joe. A few hours later, Rocco comes running back to the apartment, yelling that they have to leave. Rocco reveals that he went to Papa Joe's bar and found out that everyone already knew he was going to be killed. This sent him into a rage, and he killed everyone in the bar. In the next scene, we see how everything happened. After Rocco entered the bar, he killed 2 goons and the bartender, who works for Papa Joe. After calming down a bit, Rocco suggests taking out Vincenzo, who is Papa Joe's right-hand man. One night, the 3 follow Vincenzo to a strip club. As Vincenzo strangles his kite, the 3 saints kill him. Officer Smecker follows their trail, but his theory that there were 2 of them turns out to be unfounded, as an employee of the club saw 3 people shooting. 2 street criminals who have no connection to organized crime are also killed in the strip club, thus disproving Smecker's mob war theory. The agent then learns about the murders in Papa Joe's bar and is completely lost. The one thing that connects all the murders is the lifestyle of the victims, as they were all bad people. Lately, Smecker becomes furious because he cannot understand why he cannot get to the culprit and then leaves. Papa Joe, realizing that he is being hunted down, decides to hire the toughest hitman he has ever known. The man has no name, only a number, and has been in prison for years. He is known in criminal circles as Il Duce. Papa Joe states that they must stop Rocco before he turns the entire crime family over to the police or kills them all. Later, Duce is released from prison. In the process, Rocco tells the brothers about a hitman they absolutely must kill in the name of goodness. This is a deadbeat hitman who kills everyone he can get his hands on. Rocco finds out where and when he plays poker and wants to break into his house and kill everyone there. The brothers agree and arrive in front of the hitman's house in a minivan. As the trio sneaks into the bandit's house, Officer Smecker explains how things went down. The trio enters the house and begins shooting everyone there. In the process, it turns out that the hardened hitman impersonates Vincent Vega, sitting in the bathroom at the most important moment. Some time later, the hitman comes out and attacks Rocco. The 2 brothers leave Rocco to deal with the hitman alone because he wants revenge. The brothers throw them a golf ball, with which Rocco kills the hitman. Finally, when the trio leaves the house, waiting for them is the hitman called Il Duce, who unloads all his guns at them but fails to kill them. Rocco is wounded and loses a finger, but fortunately, they all remain alive. When Smecker arrives at the scene of the crime, he falls into despair. He cannot figure out who these people are who are indiscriminately killing criminals in the city. Then he finds Rocco's finger and calms down, realizing that he can now find the culprits. The trio watches the news and discovers that Smecker intends to continue the investigation. Rocco suggests killing him, but the brothers object because he is a good man. That evening, Smecker entered his finger into the database, and an image formed in his head. He realizes that the lead brothers have decided to clean up the city of criminals and that Rocco is helping them. Smecker must choose between arresting the brothers and ending their crusade or turning a blind eye to what they are doing. On the one hand, he feels that Connor and Murphy are doing the right thing, but he cannot accept that, so Smecker goes to a gay bar near the church and gets drunk. In the morning, when the brothers go to the church, Rocco sees Smecker and goes after him. Smecker wants to confess, but Rocco intends to kill him. Connor stops him and tells the priest to ask him certain questions. Soon, Connor realizes that Smecker is on their side. Finally, the agent promises that he will help the brothers and then leaves. When he leaves the church, the brothers call him for help. Smecker must now find the mysterious mercenary Il Duce, but he learns a more important piece of information. The trio is on their way to Papa Joe's house to kill them. Smecker knows that the house is full of henchmen, so he goes to help them. In the process, the trio is caught after they try to break into the house. They are brutally beaten and tied to chairs. Lately, Papa Joe kills Rocco, and the brothers are shocked. Meanwhile, Smecker shows up at the door of Papa Joe's house dressed as a woman. He initially seduces a guard, takes him to the bathroom, and kills him with a blow to the head. Later, he comes out of the bathroom and kills another henchman. At that moment, the brothers let loose, and when a henchman enters, they kill him. Then, Connor and Murphy decide to bid their friend a proper farewell and say a prayer. In the process, the Duce enters the house and hits Smecker in the head, knocking him unconscious. When Il Duce hears the brothers' family prayer, he drops his arms and joins them. It becomes clear that Il Duce is their long-lost father because only the brothers and he know the prayer. As a result, they decide they will join forces to rid the city of the bad guys. 3 months later, Papa Joe is put on trial, and although there seems to be enough evidence to convict him, reporters on the scene predict his acquittal. However, the trial is forcefully halted when the two brothers and Il Duce infiltrate and block it, assisted by Officer Smecker and some police officers. The three openly proclaim their mission to destroy evil and repeat their prayer one last time before shooting Papa Joe in the back of the head with several bullets. The three are dubbed saints by the media, and the film ends with several man-on-the-street interviews in which various Boston residents question whether the saints are ultimately good or evil. That's all from the video. Thanks for watching.
And shoot somebody because they feel that they're doing some good in the world?
Sign me up, man.
Sign me up.